All right, so the question here is, which of the following is not a possible rational zero of p of x equals 3x cubed plus 32x squared plus 32x plus 27? And our answer choices are negative 1/3, 3, 1, or 1/9. Now, the first thing that we need to know is the rational zero theorem, right? And this theorem is going to allow us to list all of the possible rational zeros for this polynomial function. And once we do that, then we'll see which of these four answer choices are not part of that list. So if we look at this rational zeros theorem, it says if the rational number r over s is a zero of a polynomial function, then r must be a factor of the constant term, and s must be a factor of the leading coefficient. Right? So we're going to use this theorem to get this list of possible rational zeros. Right? So I'm going to go back to this first slide here. And so what we're going to make note of is the constant term and the leading coefficient. Now, the constant term is the term that does not have a variable. So we can see here the constant term is positive 27. I'm going to write this down. Now, the leading coefficient, again, if we have our terms listed in order of descending powers, meaning our first term has the x with the largest exponent, the coefficient of that term is the leading coefficient. So here, the leading coefficient is positive 3. All right, so now what we're going to do to get our list of possible rational zeros is we're going to list out the positive factors of the constant term 27, and we're going to list out the positive factors of the leading coefficient 3. All right, and we can see from this rational zeros theorem that, again, looking at the numerator of this rational number r over s, r, the numerator must be a factor of the constant term. So those factors we list out of the constant term are going to be our possible numerators. And then we can see this number s here, the denominator must be a factor of the leading coefficient. So the factors of the leading coefficient are going to be our possible denominators. And we're going to do the positive and negative of each one of these rational numbers that we list out. All right, so I'm going to write down the positive factors, because again, the reason I just do the positive factors is because, again, when we make our list of these possible rational zeros, we're going to do the positive and negative of each one of these. So when I list out these factors, I'm just going to write down the positive ones. So the positive factors of the constant term, which was 27. All right, and I always do the factors of the constant term first because it's going to be our numerators. These are going to be what goes on top. All right, so factors, numbers that multiply together to be 27. Right, so 1 and 27, 1 times 27 is 27. And then 3 and 9, 3 times 9 is 27. Those are the four positive factors of 27. All right, so then we're going to list down the positive factors of the leading coefficient, which was 3. And again, these are going to be our denominators of our possible rational zeros. And the only two positive factors of 3 are 1 and 3. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a preliminary list of our possible rational zeros, right? And what we need to do, again, up here, the factors of 27, these are the numerators. And the positive factors of the leading coefficient 3, these are our denominators. We're going to make every possible combination that we can. And so what I like to do is I'm going to take each one of these factors of 27, 1, 27, 3, and 9, and put each one of them over that first factor of 3, 1, and then I'm going to take each one of those 4 factors of 27 and put them over the second factor of 3, which is 3. All right, we're going to do the positive and negative of each one of these. So I'm going to do positive and negative, and I'm going to put 1, 27, 3, and 9, each one of those over this 1 here. So 1 over 1, positive and negative 27 over 1, positive negative 3 over 1, positive or negative 9 over 1. All right, so I put each one of these factors of 27 over that first factor of 3, which was 1. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put each one of those factors of 27 over the second factor of 3, which is 3. So I'm going to do 1 over 3, and I got to do the positive and negative. Positive or negative 27 over 3. Positive or negative 3 over 3. And last, positive or negative 9 over 3. All right, and so now I have done this where I don't have any more positive factors of 3, so I've done every possible combination where 1, 27, 3, and 9 are numerators and 1 and 3 are denominators. Now, what I'm going to do now to get my actual list is I'm going to go through this list I just made and simplify anything that we can. And if there's any numbers that occur twice that are repeated, we don't have to list them down twice. We can, it doesn't matter, but we don't need to. So these are the possible rational zeros. You may hear it called rational roots. Means it's dealing with the same thing. All right. So if I go through, 1 over 1 is just 1. So we got positive or negative 1. Positive or negative 27 over 1 is 27. We have positive or negative 3 over 1, so positive or negative 3. Positive or negative 9 over 1, so positive or negative 9. Then we have positive or negative 1/3, which won't simplify. Then we have positive or negative 27 over 3, which is 9. We've already got that listed. And then positive or negative 3 over 3, which is this 1. We already have that listed. And then positive or negative 9 divided by 3, which is this 3, and we already have that listed. Right? So this is our list of possible rational zeros. Right? We have the positive or negative 1, positive or negative 27, positive or negative 3, positive or negative 9, positive or negative 1/3. So now what we need to do is just go back to our 4 answer choices and see which one of those 4 answer choices is not in this list. So I'm going to scroll back. Right, so we have negative 1/3, 3, 1, and 1/9. And if we went back to that list, we would see positive or negative 1/3. So negative 1/3 is part of the list. 3 is part of that list. 1 is, the only one is D here, 1/9. That is not in our list of possible rational zeros. So that is the only one that is not a possible rational zero. Right, and I'll go back and verify that. And you can see in this list, we do not see positive or negative 1/9. And the reason is, again, 9, the denominator of 1/9 is not, 9 is not a factor of that leading coefficient 3. All right, so our answer there is D.